Greetings, Paper Demons. I am here today with a very special guest, Sanchez Michaels from Sandwich Bag Games, and he has just created a game called Gosh Darn Bubbles, and he is going to tell us about it and his creative process. Sanchez and I actually have known each other for a really long time. We worked together on a few other projects in the past. We met in college, actually, but acting class or something.
Yes, in acting class. How many years ago was that?
Forever ago. Don't remind
Yeah,
us
it
how
was
old
a
we
long time.
are.
It was a long time. But we're longtime friends and constant collaborators
Yeah.
on each other's projects.
Yeah, actually, Sanchez constantly inspires me and pushes me to work harder and become a better artist. I always get impressed by what he's creating. He's constantly working on something. All right, cool. So Sanchez, tell me a little bit about what projects you've created in the past.
Well, the first one was a comic strip that you helped me with. I've also run a event listings website. I do a lot of performance stuff in general.
You were part of a band.
That's right. I was part of a band. That's another project. I was a lead singer in a band. I sing. I do performance on stage. I'm an artist to an extent. I haven't really been practicing it. That reminds me, I used to run a poetry workshop.
Oh, really?
At San Jose State.
This guy. Okay, so tell us about your newest project.
Gosh Darn Bubbles. I actually have some of the cards. Should I pull them out?
Yeah. Pardon us. We'll be right back. All right, we're back.
I'm making a card game called Gosh Darn Bubbles. It's an underwater themed card game.
The artwork's really nice. There's a...
The front and back came out beautiful. 12 different artists that worked on this game, including Susie. But what you want to look out for are the bubbles. They do nothing, and they prevent you from getting treasure from sunken chests.
It's so frustrating when you get dealt your cards and your entire hand is bubbles. It's like, I can't do anything.
I didn't know what I was going to call the game at first when I started making it, but after some playtesting and seeing how frustrated people got when the bubbles came up, that's when we all kind of collectively decided to call it Gosh Darn Bubbles.
Yeah. Why did you become an entrepreneur?
I eventually want to be able to work for myself, doing things that I want to do and like doing. Deep down inside, I'm a creative person, I guess I would describe myself as, and I want to do creative things. Ultimately, when you start your own project and work for yourself, you're doing exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it. And that's what I want to be doing all the time.
I definitely can relate to that as a person who just quit my job like 4 weeks ago. What prompted or inspired you to create this specific game?
I was running my event listings website, and it was getting pretty good traffic, but I wanted more, of course. So I started thinking of ways to get more traffic, and I thought about starting a comic strip, which was going to be underwater themed. And then one day I just kind of thought to myself, you know what, I want to make a game, because I was thinking back on all the other projects I've done, and a game would be something different. And I took a lot of what I had planned for the comic strip, formatted it to fit the card game, which is kind of fun in itself. Like, what I expected to exist for one thing ended up existing and working out well for something completely different. I'm not too into competitive games. Some of my friends might argue otherwise, but...
Wait a minute, you love Smash Brothers.
I do, I know.
How are you not into competitive games? You're lying right now.
You're one of the friends I would argue, see? But I like storytelling. It's one of the reasons I liked doing the comic strip that I used to do, because I like telling stories.
How many artists are involved in this?
There are 12 artists total.
So why did you decide to collaborate with so many artists?
A lot of this game was a learning process because it's my very first game. Didn't really know what I was doing at first. I still don't really know. But I learned along the way. And what I thought of in the beginning was, originally it was just going to be one artist. I kind of remembered the format of popular collectible card games where they have multiple artists working on the game, creating, whatever set of cards that are assigned to them, like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, but it just feels more fun to have so many different styles of art to look at.
Cool. What was your methodology when putting the game through playtesting?
I forced all my friends to play the game. They played it a lot.
Yeah, pretty much every time we had a party.
I also went to local game stores and just asked random people if they wanted to play, because it helps to have fresh eyes looking at the game, because eventually my friends got used to what the game is and how everything works, but you still need to be able to look at the game through fresh new player eyes to see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's fun, what's not fun. So it's just really finding anybody you can who is willing to play the game to get them to play the game with you.
Was it pretty easy for them to get strangers to play?
I just basically, when I did it, I went to the board game store where they have playrooms set up, and I just looked for people who weren't busy, and I would offer to purchase them snacks at the end if they wanted a drink or like a candy bar or something, just to give them something in return for the service that they kindly provided me.
Bribery.
Exactly. With sugar. Bribe them with sugar.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think the gaming community is pretty nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was very open to it. Like when they heard that I was creating a game, they're like, "Oh, it's something we haven't seen before. That's cool. Let's check it out."
People are nice. Most people are nice. Even though sometimes we're scared by them because we have social anxiety. What surprised you the most with the playtesting?
How fun some of the actions could be. And fun could go either way, because fun can work in terms of, oh, I'm going to get to do this amazing thing right now that's really going to help me. And then there's the other fun where, oh, this card is frustrating some of the other players, so that's fun for me to watch. It was cool to see some of the cards that I didn't think were going to go over well. Actually, the bubbles in the game are like the bad cards, but the amount of laughs that card gets, whether it's because people's hands become full of bubbles and they always laugh and they say, "Oh my goodness, look at my hand," like they turn around to show everybody because it's like ridiculous, or when they attempt the sunken chest action and fail, like everyone kind of laughs at them. Yeah, that was supposed to be like the bad useless card in the game, but it ended up being like one of the more important cards as far as humor and excitement goes in the game.
What is your marketing strategy like? How are you spreading the word about your Kickstarter campaign?
So I contacted several tabletop game review websites and YouTube channels, and I asked them if they had time in their schedules to preview my game to their audiences. One thing about that, it's important to contact them early, because a lot of them have lines of games waiting to be reviewed and or previewed. And the other thing I'm doing is just getting some advertising out on different big websites that have to do with board gaming.
If there's anyone out there watching this YouTube video right now who's thinking of creating their own game on Kickstarter or whatever, what advice would you give them?
You need to like what you're doing, because it's a lot of work. Other than the artists and a few spell checkers who review the card text, I'm handling everything. I made up the game, I wrote all of the card actions, I came up with them, getting manufacturing lined up, I'm getting distribution lined up. There are a lot of things that are non-creative. The most enjoyable part of making the game was the creative things. Coming up with which animals I wanted drawn, coming up with the card actions was fun, but there is a lot of non-creative aspects to it. Like what you're doing enough that you can get through the quote-unquote not fun stuff.
How long did it take you, like, how many months have you been working on this project?
I've been working on it since August 2018, and the first prototype of the game was horrible. It was not fun. My first playtesters, we all stopped playing it after one round of play.
I can imagine after that first playtest being, like, really discouraged. Like, I can imagine people, like, giving up from there. But you persevered through that and pushed through it, and and kept iterating to make it better and better. Like, I think that's really important to celebrate that, and also for the community to hear that you didn't, it wasn't like it was a winning success like right out the gate. You had to go through many iterations of it. Like, how many times did you go through the prototyping?
Yeah, like I was saying, this is like around the 9th iteration of the game was actually coming out. To speak on the like whole perseverance thing, about like not being daunted by failure, there's a quote, I don't remember the exact quote, but it has something to do with the fact that if somebody tells you no when you ask them for something, like for help completing a project or anything really, and they tell you no, that doesn't mean that you aren't going to be able to do it at all. It just means you're not going to do it with them. Even after some of my failures, I still knew this is what I wanted to do, and I took all of my failures as, okay, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do with this person or with this service or at this time. It didn't mean I'm not going to do it or can't do it. It's just not going to happen with that particular person or business or whatever.
Yeah, and you can't please everyone. I mean, we all run into this where there's people that love the art that we create and people that hate it, and you know, we can't go through life having everyone love what we do. There's always going to be, you know, haters going to hate.
Yeah, even right now, like there's already people that don't like the game, but that's only because then they had fair reasons, because they like this is a simple game. It's a very simple kind of party game. And those people were just more interested in more complex, deeper board games. And that's fine, you know, just like anything else. Some people like wheat bread, some people prefer white bread.
So that's it for my questions. So Sanchez, thank you so much for sitting down with Paper Demon today and answering my bajillion questions.
Your stack of questions.
My whole stack. And for sharing your wisdom, because I think that this is a great opportunity for others out there to get inspired and to consider their own crowdfunded projects, whether that's a game or an art project or what have you. And also, if you'd like to check out Gosh Darn Bubbles, and you totally should, we have a link in the description below that you can go to check out the artwork and the Kickstarter campaign. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Bye!
Bye!